Hola.
Hey.
Hey,
Hi,
Soph.
Sophie.
Oh, we're rolling live, y'all. Let's
When
go.
did
Let's go.
my room grow darker? I thought I had more lamps than this.
We're in it, y'all. We are in it. Happy
Fired
go-go
up.
day.
When did my clothes get tighter?
Dude, Cock was
I'm
in the house.
suffocating.
My face already hurts from smiling.
Haven't slept since last December. I guess I've gotten used to it. And I'm struggling to remember. My mind just starts to drift. 'Cause some days I'm not myself. I feel like someone else. I'm calling out, calling out. Falling out, I'm falling out. I feel like I'm wasting time. I'm crawling out my mind. I'm spiraling out, spiraling out. Finding out, I'm finding out. Please don't leave now. Please don't walk out. Though I know I'm not at my best. Please don't leave now. Please don't walk out. I'm still trying to give it a rest. When did my hair get longer? I guess I'll shave it off again. When did my plant get browner? Guess I forgot to water it again and again and again. And oh, some days I'm not myself. Forgot how normal felt. I'm spiraling, I'm spiraling out. Finding out, I'm finding out. I feel like I missed some time. I'm looking for a sign. I'm calling out, I'm calling out. Falling out, I'm falling out. Please don't leave now. Please don't walk out. Though I know I'm not at my best. Please don't leave now. Please don't walk out. I'm still trying to give it a rest. Please don't leave now. Please don't walk out. Though I know I'm not at my best. Please don't leave now. Please don't walk out. Though I know I'm not at my best.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Guitars Over Guns Day. It is so wonderful to be in community with you all tonight, here celebrating what's been over a year of these showcases. And today is officially Guitars Over Guns Day as deemed by the Miami-Dade County Board of County Commissioners. So welcome, happy Guitars Over Guns Day. And for those of you, I am imagining that most of you know who and what Guitars Over Guns is, but Guitars Over Guns is a collection of brilliant artists, many of which who you are going to hear from tonight. and also an organization, and specifically an organization that uses music as a way to engage and uplift youth in a way to access their brilliance and their full potential through mentorship. And it is such a pleasure to be with you all here tonight. Yeah, we are, I could not be happier with that opening track leading us into tonight. That was Justine Garcia, an absolutely brilliant song on this record. And we are celebrating the release of The Rain May Be Pouring, which is our first full-length EP, or LP rather. I cannot even begin to express the gratitude that I feel for everyone that has been involved in this project, and for the entire Guitars Over Guns community, everyone that has embraced this work, the individuals that are doing it and the individuals that are being served and are the next generation of leaders in our community, and that is our students. So I'm gonna ask a couple things of you right now. Number one, please share this stream right now. If you're watching on Facebook, click share, let the world know so that we can invite them into this moment. I'm gonna ask you to like Guitars Over Guns on social media, because there is a lot of really cool stuff that is coming out following this. And I also want to introduce you to The Rain May Be Pouring, which has been one of the, honest to God, and I've had some really incredible musical experiences in my life, maybe the most rewarding, fulfilling, and completely aligned projects that I have ever had the privilege of working on. This project started as a result of these very showcases and the energy and the love that was poured into them from the musicians that are a part of this organization. And that includes the students, the alumni, and the mentors, 16 of which are represented on this album in 14 incredible tracks of original music, all written during and about this present moment in quarantine, shaped by the COVID-19 pandemic, the social injustice that we've been facing in our country. And it is incredible to be releasing this the day after the verdict on the George Floyd case. And while that is no justice for the loss, it is certainly representative of the work that has been done in this movement, and is certainly a step in the right direction of a long series of things that needs to happen to create an equitable situation for all of us in this country. So I'm sitting next to my unofficial co-host for the night, who is fading into oblivion of this album. I'm gonna unshare my virtual background here so I can introduce to you all Kent Savage, who is the kind of other half of the vision of this record and the facilitator of this. And I just want to thank you, Kent, for recognizing the opportunity that was at hand when you were seeing the showcases inspired. Maybe you can tell the audience a little bit about what inspired you to create this.
Well, I'm just so excited about this project. As COVID hit and we were starting to talk on the showcases about what was going on in the lives of the students and the mentors and everyone around that has been affected, I started hearing the conversations and then hearing the songs, and it's just rang out to me that the world should hear this music. And Leanna's song, The Rain May Be Pouring, was the first that really put that light in my thoughts. And from there it grew and grew. And the conversation with Chad, we said, well, yeah, we can make an album. It was a dream. We said we can do it. And through the help of all of those that contributed and all those that helped with production, Chad's leadership and production, Danny, Ed, and all the others, it's become an amazing piece of work. I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it. And the end result is a piece of work that is beautiful, it's meaningful, it's authentic, it's real, and it's something that should be heard by everyone today.
Thank you, Kent. And I'm going to officially toast you for the launch. Happy Guitars Over Guns Day, happy album launch day, and cheers to everyone that made this project possible. Particularly Savage Content. I know Adam is on, and Savage Ticket for really bringing this to life. And I have to thank my brothers in arms here, add to Andre Daniels and Danny Hayoun for being the other creative force behind the production of this album, as well as Federico Vinvier and Sean Jones. And a huge thank you to Carly Gordon, who really facilitated and made all this come to life. She often does not get enough credit because she works behind the scenes, but was a huge part of this. So thank you to everyone. I want to thank the other sponsors that we have tonight, Cassell and Cassell, FON Advisors, my parents, Bob and Kathy Bernstein, the Green Family Foundation, Turner Investment Management, Dr. Jack Widrich Foundation, the law offices of Brian Perlin, and BAC Bach Florida Bank, and Alex Dominguez and our friends at AT&T. So thank you all for this. We are going to kick it over to one of the brilliant young alumni of this organization, coming out of the Haven studio in Chicago under the tutelage and mentorship of Ad2. And if Ad were on, he'd tell you, I don't even know what else to tell this guy because he is doing amazing things. He was just on the top 3 news stories in Chicago, which for number 1, for that to be positive news is a beautiful thing. Number 2, for that to be a young, creative, brilliant mind to be coming onto the scene is another amazing thing. And I'm gonna kick it over to Fable, who is joining us and then going to perform his track live for you all. Fable, you on? Ad, are you on? Cool. Virtual love in the house. All right, so if we are stuck in kind of digital purgatory here, let's kick it to another song. Carly, let's go with the other counterpart to Fable on this record from Chicago, from the Haven studio. Can you hit us with some Cam, please?
Just a week ago, nah, I'm lying, cause Sally made y'all on my line talking about what I owe, and I ain't even got a dime to my name to give her. I just really need some time to get away, take some time, enjoy the day, cause I ain't trying to be the one that stress my life away, crying over dollars while the shorties out here getting sprayed every other day like a bum. I'm just begging for change to free us from the pain that seem to be the only thing sitting on my brain nowadays. The same sad song love to play. Maybe that's the reason why I'm feeling stuck inside my ways, trying to navigate through this thing called life. Still trying to find a balance when I'm feeling alright, but never take it for granted. My advantage is being planted, feeling out of this world, just wondering how to manage now. Just to keep from doing damage now. I gotta keep it moving on, yeah, cause I know that we just holding on, yeah, but I gotta keep it moving on, yeah, cause I know that we just holding on. Look, but you know how it is and how the story goes. We just wanna make it, but we gotta watch the bullet holes. But that's just to get a peek at the game. While the hood getting gentrified, we all fear making a change. Now we can choose to be the ones to break the cycles past through generations. That's been places. But way before then, royalty was our pavement. Now you see that fork in the road, which way you taking? Look, this is my moment, this is my time. Now I done walked the long road through the dark, but I still see the signs. I took a shot for the moon and seen the stars aligning, giving me a sign that there's a green light in its perfect timing. I'm ready for takeoff, now watch me go see four and blast off. My mama told me the future would take his mask off as soon as I see error in my ways. So I never lose faith. Just keep it moving on, yeah, cause I know that we just holding on, yeah, but I gotta keep it moving on, cause I know that we just holding on.
Yes, 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 y'all. Make some noise for Cam.
Woo-ah!
Cam, welcome. I saw you come in during your own song. That's pretty perfect.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you.
How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. How are you all feeling?
We're doing good. It's wonderful to hear your music, man. It's an amazing night to have that be brought to life for the public.
Yeah, it is. It's a good feeling. I hope everybody gets to feel the same way I felt recording it, and it gives off the good energy that I want to be passed on.
We appreciate that, man. The lyricism and the musicianship on your record are absolutely brilliant. I want to give a huge shout out to the band, to Dwayne St. Orban, to Dave Shiverton, to Darius McCombs, and to Vaughn Henry for bringing these tracks to life with me. I want to give you a second to say a word about Add 2, and then I want you to introduce Fable because he's going to do a live performance up next.
Oh, word, yes, I can do that. First off, thank you to Add 2 and to Guitars Over Guns for this opportunity. Add 2 has been, in my corner about my music and about me in general, and it's a blessing to be a part of it. And yeah, I'm thankful for that. And this track was one of the tracks that's one of his favorites, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it was fun writing it. And you want me to introduce Fable as well, right?
Yeah, please do.
Cool. Yeah. My buddy, my brother, my friend, an amazing artist. He's one of the most hardworking people I know in Haven. I don't know if he ever sits down, but finally a Black life has been explained. So I give you all Fable.
Thank you.
Love it.
All right. Here we go. This track is called Neighborhood. Thank you. Let's go. Yeah. Oh. See you riding around my neighborhood. Talk about the way I laugh, the way I should. Oh, things change. Sitting right here in my gangway. See you riding down my neighborhood. Talk about the way I play, the way I should. Oh, things change. Sitting right here. Who would have thought my mom would birth the greatest lyricist, baddest bassist with the way I cover on my bases? I'm a giant killer. See, I come right after David. Goliath coward and wrote it all in my affidavit. My homies showed they grateful without ever capping. I'm like Larry Bird with the way I tossed the oop. You barely saw it happen, and yet you claim to see me deal. That's cause it barely happened. I barely got me a meal, but I made it happen. In exchange of bread in which I broke with my brother. Watched his daughter last week, he was extremely grateful, slid me a 20 and said it was for my troubles, man, it was no trouble at all. His baby girl is like an angel on earth, and there I gave a silent prayer and asked the one day my lip passed the bill, her daddy had passed me. I noticed 12 had passed me, I wondered if there was enough for my prayer to last for my family. Look, see, I'm riding around my neighborhood. Talk about the way I laugh, the way I should. Oh, things change. Sitting right here in my gangway. See you riding down my neighborhood. Talk about the way I play, the way I should. Oh, things change. Sitting right,
where I grew up, somewhere I never knew of. Rooted from my roots, but regardless, I still blew up. Blew me away when I went to stay over at my auntie's home. Felt this Johnny is in the danger zone. Telephone lights swole my eye up. Hella stolen items from my luggage, so I had to put a fight up. Boarding school, living
understood.
Hard to embark in a dream when you're moving with a lot of steam, or so it seems till you find yourself against a stream. I used to feel like Kareem while still in Milwaukee. Nowadays I feel the call for backup on the talkie, but I still shoot for the sky and riding in the hook. The most unstoppable prophet, I keep it in the book. I let that sink in, deeper than ink on the page. Just think about it, minute I'm off the stage.
See you riding around my neighborhood, talk about the way I laugh, the way I should. Oh, things change. Sitting right here in my gateway, riding around my neighborhood, talk about the way I play, the way I should. Oh, things change. Sitting right here in my gateway, riding around my neighborhood, talk about the way I play, the way I should. Oh, things change, they change, they change, they change. Change, they change. Riding around my neighborhood, talk about the way I play, the way I should. Oh, things change, they change, they change, they change. Riding around my neighborhood, talk about the way I laugh, the way I should. Oh, things change. Thank you.
Yeah, Fable.
Thank you, Fable.
So Fable, I want to take a second and just give you a moment to acknowledge, Haven and Ab, where this was recorded, and also the brilliance of your production and writing, like what the inspiration behind the song was.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first and foremost, shout out to my band. Shout out to Ketchy. Shout out to the Haven fam.
Go ahead and introduce them. Take a second. These guys deserve it.
Definitely. We got Jeremy on drums. We got Ketchy on the other verse. Vocals, backing vocals, main vocals. You know what I mean? Yeah. We got Brooke Sky on bass and Julius on keys. And yeah, they definitely pulled through for me today. So like, much appreciation to them. Atu's been my mentor for the past 4 years or so, and has definitely been like a big inspiration to me, and just a fantastic role model, both like in music and out of music, just from the way he holds himself on an everyday setting, casually, formally, all of that. And when I was presented the opportunity for the project, I had Neighborhood as a track that I was working on already for a different project, eerily similar to the theme of The Rain Maybe More. But it didn't really feel like it was going anywhere. And when I felt like I had the opportunity to like sort of tell that story with the $20 bill and like getting stopped by the police, like it was a really awkwardly true moment in my life. And it was something that was like really resonating heavy with me, especially during the climate that we were going through, the social climate we were going through during COVID and the quarantine.
I gotta say that lyric of I hope, talking about your niece, and I hope she lives past the bill my brother gave me.
Yeah.
Stopped me in my tracks when I heard it the first time, and that's real, man. I mean, I know that really is from the heart.
Yeah, sometimes 20 is a benchmark, and it's kind of scary to think of it that way. But
I don't think the world necessarily truly understands that. But what it takes for your leadership and the vulnerability to create a song like that speaks to that truth, really lends people a window into a world that they may not be familiar with. That's really important. And I think a lot of that has to do with the times, and I just appreciate you expressing that.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Really enjoyed this a lot.
Absolutely. Y'all catch Fable and Catchy. Catchy is a brilliant artist in his own right. And Fable's been blowing up in Chicago. And mark my words, you'll be telling people and bragging to people that you saw him on Zoom concerts one day. But always a part of the fam. And I know you'll never forget us no matter how big you get, bro. So I appreciate you performing tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Before I kick it to this next track that we're gonna play for y'all, I want to ask you, Kent. I'm sitting here next to Kent Savage, my partner in this project, and the one that really inspired it to get off the ground and pushed me to capture this beautiful moment. But did you have a favorite moment in this process?
Well, I think it was when you said, yes, we'll do it. Because in my mind, it was the Go-Go family, the Go-Go network that could make this happen. No one else, without all the different aspects of this family, all the different branches of the tree, so to speak, could make this happen. But it required you to say, yeah. And I know you had so many things on your plate already. So that was probably my proudest moment. But second to that was going into the studio. I had the good fortune to Adam, my son, and I were there during part of the recording at Criterion Studios, and just watching this come to pass and become real. And then everything beyond that has been a joy. But it's a highlight to see the artists singing and to hear the band playing and to see it in the studio becoming real. It was just amazing.
It was special. And to give you a window of where we were in the process of COVID and everything, at that point, I was stabbing every member that walked into the studio for a blood test. And, I am a doctor, so it's safe. It's all right. Don't worry about it. But we were doing immediate, antibody and blood tests for everyone that walked in, and, mandatory safety precautions and all that to the highest extent at that point. Producing and recording this record in October of 2020 was no small feat. And so, it's just a true celebration to watch this come to life. And look, tonight is a super casual thing. A lot of our showcases are a little bit buttoned up, but this is really, truly a celebration of this album and the process and the moment that we're all in right now, and the moment that we've all kind of arrived at here. And it's not over, but we got to celebrate the wins when they happen. And tonight is certainly one of those. So the next moment that we're going to celebrate is that of an alumnus of our flagship mentoring program at North Miami Middle School. The very first time that a guitar was placed into this child's hands was by the hands of John DeLeon. And it is an incredible full circle moment to hear what Rudy LaFrance, Kenzie LaFrance, as he is now known as an artist, but the child, Rudy LaFrance, and what he was able to interpret and absorb in every session, take home and come back the next week and leave his mentors and his guitar teachers speechless that he would have created. It was like, where Ashton Kutcher's gonna pop out and tell us we're punk because this kid's been playing guitar his whole life. But his whole life of guitar started at 11. And it's really been an amazing thing because his birthday is tomorrow. And he's at work right now, and I'm proud of him for that. But he'll be 23 tomorrow. So he's been with us for 12 years. And we're gonna allow you a window into the world of Rudy LaFrance and what he experienced that he says he only could have expressed through what he composed tonight, which is a powerful instrumental work beautifully captured by a dear friend of mine, fellow bandmate in Suenalo, Adrian Gonzalez. So check out the track on the album because there's a surprise with the full band on it, but this is Rudy's solo performance of It's Come to This. I mean, what do you even say to a child that you've watched grow from 11 years old into composing and performing something like that? It's absolutely unbelievable. So congratulations to Rudy LaFrance, Kenzie LaFrance. And we are just so thrilled that he has blossomed in the way that he has to express himself musically like this. Jono, any wise words before I turn it to our next performer?
I mean, you said it. What do you even say to encapsulate that? But to think about, you know, for the handful of us in the organization and you know, Rudy's friends and family that have known him and seen just how much this young man has changed and emerged into his true self, you know, over these last 12 years is nothing short of astounding. And when I think about that, it gives me so much hope and so much joy and so much excitement for all of the potential and all of the skill and all of the leadership that is maybe hanging just a little bit below the surface for every single one of the other students that we're working with, that maybe just needs to find the right mentor, find the right conditions, or find the right place to bring it out. So I'm just beyond proud to have some stake in that for this young man, and excited to see what he does next.
I know it's not about you, but how does it feel to be the guy that put a guitar in his hand for the first time?
I mean, he just, I can't even claim it anymore because
but you can. Like, you were literally the person that was like, hey, you've shown interest in this. Here's a guitar. Let me set you on an entire life path.
I
know you take that chance on every child whose hands you put a guitar in, which has been thousands in our history. But what is it? It's so cool. I mean, Rudy was really like the first young person in this organization to show a true artist's heart. And honestly, the goal of the organization is not to create a bunch of the next generation of brilliant artists. It's to create a group of young people that have actualized their potential, whether that's in music or otherwise, but certainly the ability for them to know who they are and to become leaders in their own right is where we're coming from. And it's just amazing that Rudy's talent, you know, if nothing ever happened, we've said this often, but having Rudy been the first real musical genius to have an instrument put in his hands, if nothing ever happened outside of Guitars Over Guns and that, we would have been straight. But then we met all these other brilliant kids, and it's been a wonderful journey. So I want to turn it over to another one of the brilliant mentors that works with students in our organization, the artist now known as Rios, Miss Sophie Encanto. How are you, Sophie?
Hi, I'm
How's
good.
it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and I want to remind people that they can donate to receive a limited edition vinyl record on the link that, because I'm speaking and Carly is always watching, I'm sure she will drop into the chats and the various places that you can click on and instantly support Guitars Over Guns. But I want you all to acknowledge the fact that Miss Rios is a voice and keyboard mentor at our Miami Garden schools and has written this piece called Pieces many, many months ago, so long ago that she said, I'd love to perform this, but I need to relearn it because it's been a minute. And that has been the process here in this quarantine period of writing and moving past things and then having them come to fruition. We've worked on this record kind of in disparate places, and it's really been incredible. So I'm curious what inspired you to write this and what you want to give people a window into, and how you're feeling right now, Sophie.
Well, feeling good. Very happy to be here and thankful to be just happy to be part of this project. One of the things that inspired me is this family. Like, when it all went down, you know, the organization had our backs and the back of the kids. So like, really, all of you inspired me. The unity that we have here in this organization, it's really precious. and that was one of the things. And I guess in this song I'm expressing all that was going on in those times, right? For me, it was like the worst days of the pandemic, and so hope it captured it.
One of the things that really resonates with me about your piece is a lyric that says, I see you through the glass. And that, when I heard it and when you wrote it, there were many of us that were saying hello and unfortunately saying goodbye to loved ones through the glass, unable to even be with those that we've lost in this time. And it brought me to my knees when I heard that lyric in such a powerful way that just captured so many of the things that I hadn't even let myself feel until I heard your song. So I'm really happy to hear you performing it tonight, and I'm just blessed that the world gets to hear it as well.
Thank you, Chad. Yes, definitely. That was something that I was hoping that would help people process that weirdness of the moment. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pieces by Rios.
Hello, my friend, you know where I've been, just trying to put together the pieces. Come into my home, don't tell the others, got to be fair. Don't worry, we'll find each other, hugging again. The very thing that I took for granted, I could miss it right now. One of these days we will embrace. All of these days love will remain. Insane while the pieces are floating away. We stand trying to put them together again. We pray for a whisper of a new day. We stay for the lovers ain't going nowhere. I kiss you through the glass. You look great today. You give me the look of love, but it's not the same. I know you are scared, it's okay, 'cause I'll be there. We'll bring together the pieces once again. One of these days we will embrace. All of these days love will remain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sophie.
Love you, Sophie.
Thank you. Thank you so
Oh.
much.
Sophie, what was it like hearing the song produced after submitting the demo that was, really similar to what you played? Although I've noticed that you've adopted many of the kind of production things where the song grew. But what was it like hearing it in a different context for the first time?
Well, I definitely love that the style of waltz, followed by all the rhythm section and just very soulful rhythm section. I was really really happy to hear that, and the organ and the strings. Like, it was really beautiful, and just a lot of fun recording in that studio too. I know Aretha Franklin sang on that booth, so it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think one of the coolest parts about this process was getting to record this at the Hit Factory in Miami, which is legendary. I mean, not only Aretha, but James Brown and Bob Marley, and Hotel California was recorded in that very studio. Like, I mean, it's just really incredible, the history of that studio. So walking into a space like that, it can be intimidating in a sense, but it's also, there's a reverence for it that kind of elevates you to a different and very spiritual place. So it was a beautiful thing to watch you go there.
Yes, and thank you for just bringing it out of me. I don't normally sing in like the setting of like, oh, super loud, or like, just going that much out of myself in that. I usually kind of, keep it super chill, but this kind of brought some things out, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, the pandemic was not super chill, so
No,
the
yes,
time.
so I think it was proper.
So I think there's a handful of pieces that really inspired Johan to create the art for this, and I want to ask if he's around to come up and kind of describe the process of interpreting the music that was all recorded before the artwork for the album was created. And I think that process was a really magical one. And Johan does amazing work with our students at North Miami Middle, and has also done some work with our students in Chicago in this virtual context. But I'm anxious to hear from him what his process was like digesting this music and then creating an artistic visual form out of it.
Hello, everybody. Really, really honored to be here. I remember when I first came into Guitars Over Guns, I felt like the odd man out, being the visual art mentor surrounded by a bunch of musicians.
Hold on, Johan. You are a musician as well, so let's not sell you short here.
But over time, I just realized that all of our values align, our philosophies align. The reason why we get up every morning to do what we do is it's in all of our hearts. And so I'm extremely humbled to have had the opportunity to channel the music of the mentors that change the lives of these mentees every day and make something to honor that. I don't know, Chad, because I don't think we spoke about this, but Sophie's work was definitely one of those big inspirations in trying to almost synthesize all of the energies, all of the alchemy that was happening with all of these tunes. I like to think of this frame, sort of frame within the frame, as looking out through a window, and the lines just kind of echoing the title of the entire album, "The Rain May Be Pouring." The sun really is this abstraction of all of the energy, all of the positive energy that I felt, even through the hardship of the content of a lot of these songs. You mentioned it earlier, not just being in quarantine, but being in a country that has failed time and time again to represent its citizenry. It's been I think it would be an understatement to say it's been a really challenging year. But I feel like this kind of work, the work that we do at Guitars Over Guns, the work that we did with this album, gives us a glimmer of hope and an opportunity to look beyond what's happening right now and exercise our utopic thinking and think about what we could do better in the future. I sat with your music for days. I listened to every single one of your songs again and again and again. And I opted for, I think, the most minimal yet most powerful output that I could probably create, to honor all of your work, to honor all of your creations. And I'm just really, really happy that you allow me to do that. Thank you so much, Chad. Thank you so much, Kent, Danny, Ad, absolutely everybody in this family. I love you all. Thank you so much for this amazing album, this amazing opportunity to work with all of you.
We love you too, Johan. And it was not even a hesitation in where the artwork would come from for this album. And it's interesting that you talk about kind of a minimalist approach. Danny and Ad and I had a very similar concept with the music, and that was, how do we really elevate the voice and the message of each of these artists and stay out of the way of it, but really build the structure around it to kind of highlight it and support it in the best way. And a lot of this was a process of ideation and then stripping that away and really like, all right, what is absolutely essential? Because on some of these songs, they, in my mind, particularly as a horn player, is like, oh, well, I could play a million things on this and I'm inspired to play a million things on this, but what is the real thing that we want to communicate here? And so we probably wrote 2 records worth of music, and more if you consider, Dwayne will laugh when I say this, but if you consider the amount of time that we played these songs and then extended the play on these songs for 2, 3, 4, 5 times the length of these songs to really get into an inspired groove and then select from that what was really the core elements of how to frame that message. It was a beautiful, beautiful process. It was super organic, and it's uncanny and unsurprising that the artistic representation of that followed a similar process. So thank you for capturing it in such a beautiful way. And we love you, brother. Thank you for being the visual component of this that entices everyone to listen. The feedback on the artwork has been incredible.
I'm glad.
And next, I want to introduce, I think, one of the most comforting, and we were talking about this earlier. Tiff Boom's voice is truly sensational. It has a way of like hugging you and engaging you in a truly unique way. And I know that it caught your ear.
Amen. Amen.
Tiff's piece is entitled Heaven's Footsteps, and it started as a spoken word piece inspired by Ahmaud Arbery and the Black Lives Matter movement, but specifically Ahmaud Arbery. And as she told us, like really this process of just venting and dealing with the time of this last year, she was inspired to start running and wrote this piece, in light of the fact that didn't even feel safe anymore to her. And in the studio had a concept for the way the music, could be behind it. And Dwayne Bennett, who is just an absolute musical soul brother of mine, forever really in Miami, had the most incredible piece that we took and adapted for this and created as a live track behind this piece. But we're gonna play this piece for you that was filmed at the historic Hampton House, which is an important site for conserving and celebrating Black history here in Miami. It's where we celebrated Black history in February and our showcase there. And if you have not seen One Night in Miami, takes place almost exclusively at the Hampton House. So it's beautiful work that's going down here. And Tiff's piece really speaks directly to the movement. And so we wanted to share that with you right now.
I heard footsteps from heaven today that broke the silence. The sound somehow gave me peace, and vibrations high like a unified church choir or an Afrobeat bass line. I heard footsteps steady and on pace, breaking wind like balled up fists every step of the way. I heard Ahmad running in heaven today, and I somehow felt at peace, knowing there would be no police or systemic hurdles to obscure his way. Go ahead. Go ahead and run. Go ahead and run, Ahmad. Run, Ahmad. At the 2-mile line, I heard Ahmad racing with God. He sounded light on his feet without having to carry the weight of white supremacy. I heard he and God laughing and panting in the thunder. Their feet shook the clouds and Mother Nature cried out loud for better days. Ahmad, I heard your footsteps in heaven today. I imagined you were walking with Trayvon. He introduced you to Mike Brown. How sweet the sound of this black boy joy. How I wish you could have had more here in this first life. I heard heavy-footed grandmamas marching in heaven in the late night, singing hymns about mercy and how the weak shall inherit, wearing cloud-shaped white wings with George Floyd pictured on their t-shirts. They stood with his mama calling him home till he answered. Heaven's footsteps, unified like a church choir stomp. Yesterday he was a victim, today he's with God. Heaven is full of black potential untapped, diamond before the bloom, treasure still in rough, gone home before dinner but welcomed home in love. Grand gestured parade down gallant gold roads, angels line the cloud welcoming George Floyd home, welcoming Breonna Taylor home, welcoming Tamir Rice, welcoming Eric Garner home. Melanin grows on trees at these longitude degrees. Welcome to heaven, Breonna Taylor, where you could sleep in peace and be black unapologetically, without cringe, without fear, no judgment attached. One love, one hallelujah, one prayer, one freedom song, one equality for all. If not here on earth, heaven's angels rejoice when black lives make it home. If not here on earth, heaven's angels rejoice when black lives make it home.
Wow, just awesome, awesome. Okay, message that the world needs to hear.
That was unbelievable.
Thank you, thank you.
Too fitting on a day after the Derek Chauvin verdict came out, and rightfully so, but also on a day where I was asked why it's important, the work that we do in the context of kind of building the narrative of this organization. And the thing that came to mind for me was there is so much untapped black potential in heaven. And the thought and the imagery of Tiff's words just rang in my head. It is so powerful. And that performance live was really at the brilliance of Jay Howard. And there was a sister Kaylee on bass who could have switched over to drums. Jay could have switched over to bass. A very talented couple of individuals, both of whom are mentoring students in our organization. I'm so happy they are. But man, Tiff's words really, I encourage you to listen to the record, not only because it's a different version, and it's also brilliant, but just because there's so much to hear, to really truly hear in what she's saying, that I encourage you to spend some time with that track, because it'll continue to open doors for your empathy, your understanding, and your perspective of the world. And I am honored to introduce somebody that has been in this work with me for as long as anyone. And that is our longtime mentor and vocal ensemble director and community coordinator and bandmate and friend and, love of my life in Miami, Miss Michelle Foreman, loved by all. Some of her students are in the house with her tonight. Mish, AKA Carmen Sandiego. Where are you in this moment? How are you feeling? How is this moment for you right now?
Oh man, I just feel enveloped with love, and it's just a really beautiful feeling. I'm very happy to be here. This was a kind of a huge accomplishment for me, because I'm not so quick to share my original music with the world, and so sharing my original music is really difficult, but I know that I'm supposed to, and this has been in the works for a while, I feel,
So,
and go ahead.
I was gonna say, as in life, you have played this incredibly supportive role of the people around you in Guitars Over Guns, in Swenelo, in your musical career. You are everyone's favorite backup singer, and you've led some incredible women in concert and in song and in ensemble, and have done plenty of performing live with you in guitar and band. But I think both of us would agree too little of it has been recorded, and regardless of the reason, this really represented a huge milestone, and maybe you can give people a window into what this song is, how it felt to record it, what your inspiration was, and what you hope people get from it.
Okay.
Small question.
I'm going to try to keep it short, but I don't know if that's possible. Okay, so just since we're in a casual space, I'd like to be able to get this out. How does it feel to have the final product? Liberating, like exhaling, like releasing something that I've been holding on to for far too long, and like I said, submitting was a ginormous step for me, and I'm just so grateful for how much you believe in me, along with the others that are part of producing this. I have a lot to say, and I have a lot in the vault, and I tend to suppress my own voice, so I kind of let go of the reins on this one in a manner that I had never done before. Kako's in the room. I know you're in here somewhere, and you know how it is with me sometimes, but I set it free and I surrendered, to the universe, put my trust in you guys, put my trust in my go-go family, and trusted the process, and the way the team portrayed what I was feeling, they captured, like Melanie said in our listening session, I think they captured my soul in a way that I had never heard before, and that was really profound for me. Another thing that happened, which I celebrate, is that I remember when I walked in the studio, you were like, I hadn't heard the track yet, I had not heard the track. I think I had heard 3 seconds of it when Chad's like, get in here, they're laying it down. I'm like, now, okay, you know, it's just like I show up and it's done, you know,
On Zoom.
on Zoom. And like I heard like maybe like 2.5 minutes.
Through
Anyway,
a computer speaker, through
yeah,
monitors, you know, miles and miles and miles away.
and by the time I got in there, you know, so when I walked in the studio and part of the surrendering, you were like, do you want to hear the track? You know, and I'm like, nah, put me in the booth, you know. And you're like, all right. Like when I looked at you, you were like, I felt like you were proud. You're like, let's go, you know. And you guys captured all the emotions, like everything just kind of the floodgates opened, and everything just kind of came out. I left my heart in that booth that day. And I want to thank all the contributors and facilitators for breathing such life into this song. I just feel honored that I was chosen to represent one of the many emotions that many of us are experiencing. And to touch on criteria for a moment, going back to like what Sophie was saying, my father was a horn player, and he played with several notorious legendary musicians, and he also recorded at Criteria quite a bit, actually. So being invited to record there was surreal for reasons like beyond the studio's notoriety or reputation. And my father was one of my biggest fans, you know. He believed in me, and Chad, you inspired me to kind of channel him a little bit in a section of the song, and I think we both did. And so there's a section in the song that pays homage to my old man. As far as being inspired, did you want to talk? I'm gonna just get it all out.
Go.
So as far as being inspired, what the inspiration was a few things. Empathy and a desire to heal others, something I've carried around with me my whole life. Unfortunately, the suffering of humanity was an inspiration. And I mean, for so many of us musicians, pain is our muse. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And I'm not just talking about 2020 when I say like the suffering of humanity, like lifetimes of suffering. And humanity knows pain and hatred more than it knows love. And it's heart-wrenching. Like the anguish I feel because of it is overwhelming sometimes, you know. And I needed to get it out. I needed to let it out. It was suffocating me. And this was so many people take love and time for granted, you know what I'm saying? And love is home for me, and I've been homesick for quite some time. And time is an illusion. We truly only have now. So we need to learn how to love now. We need to know love now, because later may never come. And we've all lost a lot of people, you know, during this experience. I lost 4 people in a 5-month period of time. I mean, and one of those people, go ahead.
Big people.
And one of those people was someone who didn't know how loved they were, you know, and all they ever wanted to feel was loved, you know. And lastly, the inspiration part is that there are no mountaintops to scream from in Miami, as we both know, Chad. So I guess the song and the mic became the mountaintop for me, and I can thank Susie for that analogy. And that's what I have to say about that. Think you asked me how I want people to feel? Was that one of the?
Well, I can certainly tell you how I want people to feel, because this moment is a mountaintop, and you have screamed from the depth of your soul from this place on this record. And there was a moment in this record where you pushed yourself vocally in a way, and I've performed with you for 20 years, that you push yourself to a level that I had never seen you go, which is saying a lot. And what you said about love is home and I feel homesick. I want, in an effort to create the change that you clearly want to elicit in those that feel this, I want people that are listening to this to share the love that you feel for this moment and for Michelle in this moment when you listen to this song, because this song is needed, because you are needed, and because you are so deeply loved by everyone in this family and this organization. And this song will live forever as a reminder of that, and a reminder hopefully for everyone to find a place of home when they're feeling homesick in that way. So feel free to tell people how they want to feel and have a last remark, and then I want to play this absolutely incredible piece of music.
Thank you, Chad. I hope it provides healing. Humanity needs to heal, and you can't do it without love. So I've always known that, and if you let love into your heart, it will always prevail. And I just hope people can relate to how I feel, and I hope that they can feel like the collective speaking through me. I also hope to raise the vibration and energetic frequencies of anybody who listens. That's a very important detail, Chad. I have to mention this.
Please do.
So it's written in 432 rather than standard 440 for a reason. And I know it seems like just a couple of decimals off, but in the worlds of frequency and vibration, it's ginormous. In fact, it's 440 is unnatural tuning frequency, and it removes us from sacred vibrations. And when we 432 is in harmony with nature, it's in balance with nature, and when we connect with nature, we can connect to ourselves. And I just feel like maybe anybody who really taps into this, it could help them vibrate a little higher and heal. I could say more, but I'm gonna not say more now and just.
Well, here's to a collective moment of vibrating at 432 and of feeling all of those things through Michelle. And part of this, the importance of this record, was not only to understand the experiences of the individual experiences that are represented musically here, but to find a place of your own experience within this record. And I personally have felt closer to somebody I've known for so long as a result of this song, and it's truly beautiful. And I hope you all find some peace and some love, and I'll challenge you to listen in that way to this song, because it is truly remarkable, and I am so thankful that it's recorded. Go ahead, Carly.
It's all we've ever known, and everywhere I roam feels the same. And if I don't let it go, the shadows always know how to get the best of me. Just take me to the place where there's no hate or pain, no more suffering anymore. Take me to the place where everyone's okay. day, and I'll be home. Please just take me 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 home. Whoa. I just wanna make the world a better place. See, I'm holding on to hoping we will unify someday. But we stand in our own way, despite the mirror in our face. If something doesn't change, the past can't be replaced. Just take me home. Please just take me home. Please just take me home. Please just take me home. Just take me to the place where I can see your face. I hope that you're okay. It was only yesterday. Maybe one day, after I've made a change, I just wanna hear you play. We're drowning in a sea of uncertainties. If there's one thing I know for sure, time is never guaranteed. Just take me to the place where I can make a change, where everyone's okay, where love will save the day. Just take me to the place. Just take me to the place. Just take me to the place where love can save the day.
Come on!
That's my sister.
If I may, I want to ask each of you that just heard that song to drop some comment either in the Facebook chat or if you're on Zoom, on the Zoom chat, to what that song brought for you or did to you or allowed you to feel, because that is as pure and as raw and as honest and as beautiful a representation of the value of music in the world as I've ever experienced. How you feeling, Mesh?
How do you know how I'm feeling?
How are you feeling, Kent?
I'm feeling emotional, but that's to be expected. Kent, thank you, Kent. Thank you.
Oh, and to you, it's a gift to the world. The whole album is, and the song in particular speaks to everybody, everywhere. We all need this. We all need love. Thank you.
I wanna bring Danny and Ad, if he's on, into the mix here, because you know, this was a truly collective effort, and those two individuals worked hand in hand with me through this entire process. And I know that Danny's on, so I'll ask him first. You know, Danny, what was it like to work with these artists, and you know, like what is your perspective on how we curated this group to work with such a unique variety of music?
Man, honestly, I think that I'm sorry, I'm a little verklempt. But no, I think that, okay, as far as the singer-songwriters that presented very sparse demos where we had to, I suppose, help imagine where it could go, with a song like Michelle's, for instance, that we just listened to, that was really a synergy that was beautiful to behold and to take part of in the studio, especially with the band that we had in the studio. You know, Dwayne, Vaughn, Tadarius, and Shiv. They're all just master musicians and are able to handle any style. So it was really beautiful to see what they did instinctively and then in response to direction. And as far as the other artists, many of them had sort of fully formed ideas where we just wanted to do very little to enhance it, because it was already pretty, like I said, fully formed and just beautifully produced in its own right with a lot of the other artists.
It was, I know that one of the things we labored over once we had the submissions was the order to present these in, which is, I can't wait for you all to hear the record. As wonderful it is to share this on Zoom, like, we can't wait to hear your comments when you actually get to hear the mastered and mixed versions off of whatever platform you're listening to them on. And you know, want to remind people that you can donate and receive a limited edition vinyl right now, help support the mission. And it's a piece of art that is worth its weight in gold. And certainly the music it far exceeds the value of the record. So please help support the work that we do in that way, and certainly support these artists. And I want to shout out two individuals that also helped with this, which is Federico Vinbier, who is a dear, dear friend of mine for a very long time, who's producing for all the biggest names in the world right now, who graciously, you know, helped us with this project and lent his expertise, as well as Sean P. Jones, who mixed and mastered everything. So I want you to all pull out your phones right now and go to Spotify and favorite The Rain May Be Pouring. And we can drop the link in the chat. We'll drop the link on Facebook. But let's make sure that these artists get the due credit that they deserve for the brilliant music they've created. And we're going to give away the first person to email info@guitarsoverguns.org with a screenshot that they've favorited our album. And you will receive a limited edition vinyl starting right now. So go for that, and we'll announce the winner at the end of the show. So take a screenshot that you favorited the album and send it to info@guitarsoverguns.org. Don't go rogue. Don't play by your own rules. Make the email info@guitarsoverguns.org. And I want to introduce our next artist, who is Corin Stevie, an incredible mentor and rapper and visual artist and digital artist, and just amazing. And she actually had a sample of one of the protests that she was attending with her brother. And that was the origin of the song called Breathe Through the Pain. And I want to give her an opportunity to give you a window into the inspiration behind her process of creating it. And then she's going to perform the song for you.
Yes, good evening, everybody. What's up? Thank y'all for having me. Guitars Over Guns family has just been a blessing since I've joined. This is my second year being a part of it, and to experience the pandemic and be a part of this collective of musicians, of activists, of artists, of like just bright minds and souls. It's been just so uplifting, and it's kept me going through this whole ordeal. And so I'm just grateful that I found you all, and that I'm a part of this. And yeah, to speak to the song, as you mentioned, Chad, my brother lived in New York in 2014, around the time Eric Garner was murdered. And he happened to go to a protest, and he recorded video of, you know, folks who were at the protest. And during the pandemic last year, around July, he just was like, we were just talking, and he played it for me. He played the video for me, and I was like, oh, I need that. I need to do something with that clip, because it was like maybe a 30-second clip, you know, people just marching in the streets. And I was like, I need that clip. Got to do something with that clip. And from there, I took it over to my other brother. I'm grateful because I have a lot of creatives in my family. But I took it to my other brother who produces music, and I'm like, we need to do something with this. How do we do it? Let's like figure this out. And once he started producing the track, the next part of it was obviously the songwriting. And man, I was texting one of my good friends, and I was like, hey, I'm about to write this song about folks who, you know, who were murdered by it, you know, by way of police brutality. And I'm like, I hope to do this justice. And I started doing my research, and I realized the list is so long. We have the hashtag names that we've kind of adopted and that have, you know, just kind of floated around the internet. But the list of folks who've been murdered by, you know what I mean? We know what it is. It's been going on for way too long. But for me, it was about like, how do I also just capture the moment and highlight the names we do know. And I also wanted to include some of our trans brothers and sisters as well, because, you know, they've also been experiencing these things and don't get highlight. So yeah, it was just like a deep moment, and I didn't even know I was gonna submit it. I just was working on it because I wasn't really creating anything during the pandemic like that. And I was like, I guess I just need to, it felt like something I just had to do. And once it was done, it was just like, oh, you know, and I kind of like went back to the emails about the organization making a compilation, which to me, this is the first job I've ever had where they've released the album. I don't know if y'all have had this experience, but I think like that's so freaking amazing that like, you know, an organization that I'm a part of releases music. That's like just so mind blowing. But yeah, so I say all that to say the process definitely, I felt like I was just a part of it, a conduit or a vessel for it to come out. And yeah, I felt so many ways about it, but it's sometimes it's just like, it has to be done. Somebody has to do it. And I just took it upon myself and made it happen. Of course, with the help of everybody else. And I don't want to forget the process of going to the studio. We have talked about that, but go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I don't want to get in the way of the music. I think it was important that you wrote that song. The song is important. It's also important to recognize the fact that 6-8 months, whatever it's been since you wrote it, it's already out of date. So, you know, I know that yesterday was a sense of a step in the right direction, but you know, justice will be when the fear of living does not have to encumber, you know, Black and brown joy. And so it's a really important point to make. It's an important point to talk about. It's an important thing to discuss, regardless of how uncomfortable it is. And it takes all voices to be at the table to discuss that. And so I'm just really appreciative that your song has created an avenue for a discussion that needs to be had. And it does it in a brilliant way. And I'm excited to hear you perform it tonight. So
thank you. And I do want to shout out, obviously, you, Chad, and Danny, add to once the song got accepted to be a part of the project, I worked with Ad2 and had a conversation with him, which was like really cool because I love his music and everything that he does. He was just like, yo, what are your thoughts? I'm like, I want some live drums. Like, I don't know, I was like, I love your music. That's the direction I want to go in. And to like, down to the moment of hearing the track when you all were recording it with the band, it was like, whoa, okay, this is like really growing. And I feel like collaboration is my superpower. So whenever I get the opportunity to kind of open up what I do with other people, I always am excited about the beauty of what it can be when it expands and grows. And that was just an amazing experience to be able to hear the music just become like this bigger cinematic sound and really paint the picture. And just being at the Hit Factory, like, and me being a hip hop head, like I ended up popping into the Cash Money room and I was like freaking out because I grew up listening to Cash Money. And just, I was that kid that read the back of albums and I always saw like where the songs were recorded. And when the opportunity came for me to go to the Hit Factory, I didn't even think twice about it. Like I was ready. I was excited. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I am going to play the song Breathe Through the Pain. I'm going to be using the version from the demo, the instrumental. So, but yeah, let me load it up for y'all really quickly and then I will get cracking.
And speaking of collaborations, shout out to our boy Y Diz for bringing you into the fam. I hope he's watching out there too.
Oh yes, I'm sure he is. He's always watching.
That's perfectly creepy.
All right, let me know if y'all hear the music. Yeah. Corin Stevie. Urban Noise. Yeah. I can never accept this as my affirmation. Yeah. Breathe through the pain. Yeah. Breathe through the pain. Yeah. Breathe through the pain. Yeah. Eric Garner, George Floyd, murdered by the cops and they took away their voice. Stephen Clark, Philando Castile, I don't know how I'm really supposed to feel. Breonna Taylor, Tony McDade, I pray one day we can heal from the pain. Elijah McClain, I gotta say their names. Karen Jameson will never be the same. Neil Rice, Oscar Grant, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, loyal to the soil when they died on this land. Some things that never understand. Freddie Gray, Mercy Mack, Black America been under attack. Some rather spread lies, didn't tell facts. Watch what you speak on the phone, the lies tap, hey. Yeah. Breathe through the pain. Yeah. Breathe through the pain. You know I'm gonna breathe through the pain. Yeah. Vaccine, I don't need the vaccine. I'm gonna focus on my health. Gotta drink clean. And it feels like a bad dream. Stressed out and I drink a lot of caffeine. LQ help me to get through. Ready for the change and it's been overdue. Gotta keep the kids safe and we can't open schools. Been stuck in the house, I need a new point of view. I'm an introvert, so this ain't nothing new. I'm living proof that JC is coming soon. Rose from the dead and he came up the tomb. Been connected with the source since I came out the womb. Still a caterpillar in my cocoon. Breaking out my shell, breaking every spell. When I free my mind, yeah, I'm breaking out of jail. Found heaven in me, so I'm breaking out of hell. Yeah. Breathe through the pain. Yeah. Breathe through the pain. You know I'm gonna breathe through the pain. Yeah, 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 I gotta breathe through the pain. This song right here is dedicated to all those we lost in police brutality. This is dedicated to all those who've been locked up unjustly. This is dedicated to the brothers, the sisters, the daughters, the mothers, the grandmothers. This is dedicated to all the ancestors. I stand on your shoulders. So for you, I'm gonna breathe. All right, that's it. That's the track, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
amazing. I think one of the coolest parts for me, and I think we should at some point release the demos as like a separate thing or as bonus tracks or something, because the every one of the demos had something that was so clear that like drew us in, and for each demo it was different. And some of them were kind of fully baked songs like yours, and some of them were ideas and voice memos. Some of them were bedroom recordings on an iPhone with a bass and vocals. 2 of them actually, surprisingly. But you know, one of the things that I love is that collaborative process that brought them to life to make them all kind of connected. And so at some point we'll have to find a way to give people a window into the process as well. But C. Stevie, love you, girl. You were just absolutely amazing. I'm so thankful that you wrote that track and are on this album. So
Thank you so much. I was listening to the album earlier today and I was just blown away by the consistency of the whole sound, the mixing, the mastering. I mean, I played it for my brother. We like, it's an honor to be a part of a moment. And just so much talent and so much just power in one space. And this is one thing I do want to say. I feel like this album reminded me of like how albums used to sound and how music used to sound from like the 90s and the early 2000s. Because I feel like now music, especially with hip hop, in certain genres, music just kind of gotten so short and quick. And this album is just like full length, like just so powerful, so musical, songs that are 6 minutes and like stuff that you're not seeing anymore. So it's just like, feels good to be a part of something like that, with so having a fresh take on classic sounds, you know? So thank you again, Chad. Thank you, Kent. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everybody. Amazing, amazing music. Please download all that stuff. Download it, share it, all that good stuff. I'm out. Peace, peace.
Peace, Corin. Thank you so much. And yeah, that comes from being real and older and in the music scene when those things were real. But hopefully the lack of brevity does not equate to the lack of commercial success. I think the world needs to hear this album for sure. And you know, I think one of the things that's so amazing is where this all started. And it was initially going to be the last track on the album because we wanted to leave people with this really high note of hope and inspiration, and leave people with the words of one of our students. And thank you to Melanie and several other people that I had conversations with that challenged me to really think about what's the most important thing about this album. And I think the most important thing about this album, it's a couple of things. One, it's that we've all had these incredibly individual experiences. And each of our individual experiences gives way to another person understanding their own experience better, or building empathy through understanding another perspective of this time, because this time was globally shared, you know, in a profound way that's never happened, at least in my lifetime. And I think that's one of the real magical pieces of this album, is the ability to create this global unity and shared experience, but also really give way to 14 unique tracks and 14 unique lived experiences that I hope, evolve people's perspective. But the thing that really inspired this album was Leon.
Oh, it was. And we were in the period of the early days of COVID. And it's hard now that we're 15 months in to think back that far, but the world had changed. And a lot of the things that have happened since hadn't happened yet. But one night, Chad was talking with Leanna, and you hear the early parts of that conversation actually on the album. And he said, "When did you write this song?" "A couple days ago." And I heard it. I said, "This is amazing." And as the body of work grew over the showcases, I said, "Well, this has to be heard." And this is a very hopeful song. All the songs are not hopeful, and the album is not all about what's ponies and rainbows, and it's about what's real, and that's what makes it great. It's authentic. It's from the heart. It's not glossed over in any way. But Leanna's words are true. They are true and they're universal, and they are uplifting. And then, what really blew me away is when we were in the studio. It was later in the afternoon, maybe early evening by this time. And Leanna and her dad were there. And she said, "Oh, by the way, I kind of wrote this bridge this morning, and I'd like to fit that into the song." And I said, "Wow, the song was already great." And then she did the bridge, from which the title comes. And the words are poetic, the words are beautiful, the music is beautiful, and it was really the inspiration for this entire project. So thank you to Leanna, thank you to all.
Yeah. And in Liana's words, "The rain may be pouring, but the sun comes in the morning. A new day has arrived. Give thanks that you're alive. I know you may be finding it hard to cope, but even in despair, there is hope." Man, leave it to a 13-year-old to remind us about what's most important in life. And I think that's really the most important part of this record, is that we learn so many things that we need to unlearn when we hear from our kids, and we need to make way for their voice to be present in the world, because they remind us of what is most important time and time again. And we are not in this organization giving our students a voice. We are getting out of the way of the voice that they have and allowing them to share that with the world in the most powerful way. So it is with no further ado that we present to you a clip from the documentary that was made about this film, centering on Liana's song, "This Is Nothing New."
Well, when I first heard the song, it was very early in the pandemic, and we were all even trying to understand what was going on. I think we still all are, but your song was just so amazing. It was magical and beautiful, and I thank you for that. But it inspired me, and as we went through further showcases and I heard the rest of the music that was coming out of the Guitars Over Guns organization, I said, whoa. The world needs to hear this, and the world needs to hear your music. And that's what was really the inspiration of the album. So not only did you touch me, touch my heart, but it really was the genesis of the idea for this whole recording.
I know you're going to kill it. It's going to sound amazing. You're amazing.
Thank you, Mr. Danny.
And Mr. Chad and I are going to be pushing the button on the playback things. You'll be able to hear us through the thing if you need to.
Okay. This is nothing new. My resolution is clear, yeah, it's faith over fear. Say this is nothing new. Rain may be pouring, but the sun comes in the morning. A new day has arrived.
We don't have to use it for the album, but
Okay.
but it's just such a beautiful thing, you know?
Okay.
For memories.
Yeah.
So, what's the part?
Giving thanks that I'm alive.
I know you may find it hard to cope,
but even in despair there is hope.
your candlelight goes out again, just light it up, light it up. You know you can take that flame, make it blaze, and be amazed at how you kept your faith, at how you kept your faith. You kept your faith. Yay!
Wow.
To sing with my father, I was very happy. I was sharing the experience with my dad, the one that has raised me, and I feel very proud and happy that he's my father, you know, and I love him. Hope. I know that when people listen to it, they're gonna feel a sense of security, feel a sense of hope. They're gonna know that, hey, it's okay. We're all gonna be all right. At the end of the day, yeah, it's all good.
I don't know what else to say about the world that Liana can't say through her music, but if you ever needed a reminder that we should all maintain hope, that's it. And only because I know that it's as hard for him to speak in this moment as it is for me, I'm going to ask Danny to just give like a very brief, I know, but you know, you and I were in the trenches in this album in a really amazing way. And Mish was fortunately there in the studio for this moment too. But what has it been like to be Liana's mentor and get to open these doors for her to leap through in such a profound way?
I don't wanna say this, but I'm gonna say it. Liana is my Rudy. You know what I'm saying? Like I take credit. I put the guitar. Jono doesn't want to take credit for Rudy. That's cool. I am taking credit for Liana. That is it. But no, honestly, man, from I mean, whatever. Liana and I have always had a good relationship. I mean, she was also brought in by one of my favorite. I don't want to play favorites, but one of the great go-go students of all time, Chase. Who is one of Liana's best friends, if not her best friend. So there was a kinship to start. And then when I saw her kind of excelling at guitar without even my instruction, to be honest, like Liana would just kind of do her thing while everybody else was going through basics, and she was just getting accelerated. And then every once in a while I'd throw her something a little bit more advanced. And then that first showcase in school where she sang and Chase had to sort of sit with her and sing the first chorus before she got comfortable, and seeing the entire class, I mean, and it's a large class at North Miami Middle, just erupt into applause like they had just seen their favorite artist on a song that was sung by a person that they probably didn't even know sang yet. That was mind-blowing. And then just her taking on more and more showcases and responsibilities and things like that, despite being really shy sometimes, was a huge step forward. And then the studio was, I mean, that's essentially what you were asking. I apologize for taking a while to arrive. But when they got to the studio, it was Liana and her pops, because we wanted to get more people, but because of the size of the vocal room, we could only have one person, and Liana decided to have it be her father, and Chad and I got that harebrained scheme. It was like, once we had all the takes, and okay, wait, actually, before I get to that, the bridge, because Kent had mentioned the bridge. So Liana, yeah, she's like, I wrote another part to the song, and we'd already tracked the band playing the song as it was, and then she just sat there with her guitar and just played the chords. And as soon as she sang the first line, I remember myself, Chad, and Kent was there too, and we all just started laughing so hard, because sometimes when you hear something that's just so brilliant, logic doesn't really do justice to the moment, so you just laugh hysterically because it's just so good. So obviously we had to make it happen, and I just remember, like, I busted out my guitar, and I was in the control room, and she was in the booth, and we were just like eyes locked, playing this new part, and man, it just felt so good. It was just that was magical. And then Chad and I then had the harebrained scheme of like, Pops, get in the booth. And he was like, no, 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 no. This is all about my daughter. He is an amazing father.
He wouldn't let us include it on the final take. He said, I'll do it, but only if you don't include it in the record. So we respected his wishes, but we'll have to go with the remix that he's on, because there's just something so magical about that moment. I'm so happy we have it on video, but that was one of the most magical musical moments of my life, and I know that you and Mesh and Ken feel the same, and it's not from any lack of moments for any of us. So thanks for giving some context to that, and thank you for being my true right hand in this entire album. It was an honor to spend the time with you and have your creative brain on this.
I love you, brother. Lily, you already know. Okay.
And I know Liana's, engaged in homework and school and has an early day tomorrow. And so I don't think she's on, but I think.
Oh, she's on.
Oh, is she?
She's very much alive and in the room.
Oh, you little secret. What are you ninjing about over here? There you are. Camera on and everything. I'm going to click the button to ask you to unmute.
Well, hello there.
Well, hello, Liana.
How are you?
I'm better now that I know that you've been lurking in the shadows. How does it feel to inspire an entire album and a movement and an entire organization to do a thing that's pretty amazing?
It's awesome, honestly. I feel very honored, and I'm excited to see what will come in the future, because I know that there will be a lot more to come. Yeah, so.
Well, if on behalf of the universe, it has been such a pleasure to watch your journey and your path, and whatever it is, without telling you it needs to be anything other than what you want it to be. Just know that you have an entire village of people that want to move things out of the way for it to be whatever you want. And you got a world that'll move the mountains that your voice won't, and it'll move most of them. So we are so proud of you, and I love that awkward Zoom moment turned into this incredible, beautiful thing that has inspired not only all the youth in the organization, but the mentors and the alumni and the entire community of supporters of this organization and partners. So loved you then, love you now, and can't wait to see what comes from this, and have some important things to talk to you about, like taking you places to sing. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, but we're going to Nashville, spoiler alert. Anyway, we'll talk tomorrow. The last thing I kind of wanted to do was just, we had the perspective, and up until now, because I did not know that Liana was over here silently snipering the conversation. But please drop some love for Liana, for Lily 2024 in the chat. Drop some love for Liana on Facebook and on the Zoom chat of what, she's 14 now, so don't let me misrepresent. She's fully grown, but what it means when a 14-year-old inspires you in the way that she has inspired you in this last clip. And I want to say two things more, and I know it's been a lot of talking tonight, but this is, screw it. It's a celebration of a really important moment, and I'm not apologizing for any of it. So I want to say that moment of connecting that life, the values that you were born into and imbued with from your parents, and let us not forget to shout out and shine some serious love on Jocelyn as well, your mother, who is every bit as supportive and a part of this journey as Irving is, or Dad, as you call him. it is very similar to the path that I've had with my own parents. And I want to thank both of them for making me, and also for, you know, creating the sense of, I guess the sense that there's a net under me that'll catch me no matter how far I leap. And I think that is one of the most important things that we can do for our kids, because the limit should never be above you. It should never be placed above you. The ceiling should never be placed in a situation where you can hit it and feel okay with it. You should always know that you're capable of more. And I think that in this case, you were pushed, Liana, in so many ways to continue and challenge, and Mish said it best. That song started as a challenge. And this organization, in a sense, started as a challenge. And it was in those same early years of being pushed, in those moments of my life, where I was challenged to really think about who I was and who I wanted to be, and to know that when all else had failed, that my family had my back. And I think that is the most important thing that Guitars Over Guns provides to the world and to our kids, because Liana, you and all the other students in this organization have a family behind your back. Doesn't matter if they're blood, in your case, it is as well, but not everybody has that biologically necessarily, but everyone in this organization has that, students and mentors and alumni alike. And that is a beautiful thing, to feel a sense of belonging in the world that allows you to take chances on who you are and take those risks on yourself that end up paying off in the way that we have just experienced tonight, and even larger in the way that this organization has come into existence. And so I want to remind everybody that's a part of this organization, every student, every alumni, every mentor, every staff member, every supporter, that in this organization, you have that. And please, please don't ever forget it, because it's too precious to ever lose sight of. So thank you for being a part of tonight. Thank you for being a part of Guitars Over Guns. Thank you to Kent and to Savage Content for your vision, your belief in this organization, and everything that you've done to help bring this to fruition, and all the wonderful things that we have lined up for moving forward. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you to our partners and our sponsors, Cassell and Cassell, FON Advisors, my parents, Bob and Kathy Bernstein, the Green Family Foundation, Chad Turner and Turner Investment Management, H, the Whites family, the Dr. Jack Widrich Foundation, the law offices of Brian C. Perlin, Bach Florida Bank, and AT&T. And we are streaming on all major platforms for The Rain May Be Pouring. Lyrics and words inspired by, at the time, a very precocious and brave 13-year-old girl who is now a full-grown 14-year-old, Lily, 2024 and 2028. It's been amended. Thank you, Danny. And speaking of vinyl, our giveaway winner is none other than former mentor Ella Dufresne. Once a member of the family, always a member of the family. Ella, we love you beyond measure. Your art is hanging in all the houses I've been in today, both mine and Ken's. And to play us out, we're going to hear Company by Starved Marv, followed by some really amazing other plays in the Zoom room after party. So we'll drop the link for that. We're gonna roll Company. And honestly, to the community, thank you for your support. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for getting through this time, and never forget, you got a family of support behind you. We love you. Good night.
Trapped inside by this unknown disease, puts me at this ease. Now I'm in need of company. I just might need company, yeah. This disease no go kill me, but say loneliness will. phantoms of my solitude include my sunken mind. Lock me up, bring me down, all alone, it kills me now. And every day feels the same. Lock me up, bring me down, all alone, can't get out. I haven't seen no one. I don't deserve company, 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 friend, company, 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 brother, company, sister, company, please, company, company. I haven't seen no one. Every day feels the same. I forget my friends' name. Wow. One by one, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. Oh, it's me. These mask covers up my sorrow, so can't see. A smile's contagious, but contagion hides yours from me. I haven't seen no one. Lonely somebody, won't you come find me? I hide behind my mask, yes I do company. I just might need company, yeah. I'm out here inside with no one by my side. Go outside, do or die. It's never social life. It's a masquerade outside. Identity deprived. Conversations with myself. Say I have lost my mind. Yeah. I'm in need of some company, 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 company. No one. Company, company.